F-45 taxiing and taking off on Growling Sidewinder with Red Star Squid. We're going to go have some fun here, or well, try to have some fun. Now, one of the biggest challenges with flying an F-16, whether it's red side or blue side, is not to tip over and not to get stuck in the mud. You got to be real slow in your taxi out because you're literally on a tricycle and you will either tip over and get or possibly stuck in dirt, as you see Plasma achieving here 5 seconds after moving. Afterburner can help you get out of dirt, but if you tip over, you can easily damage your aircraft or your wing. I recommend doing a reslot or repair if you do end up doing this. So those tight turns, especially when you're fully loaded in an F-16, is never a good idea. Now, the reason I'm showing you this part of the takeoff is because this is actually going to be pretty important, because guess what? Plasma has already damaged his aircraft, and even though I don't know it, we're going to see this in just a moment as we push for takeoff. Some of these clips are going to be sped up a little bit just so that you guys aren't bored, and we are now airborne out of Soganlug, heading out for the enemy aircraft. Gear up. I looked down there to make sure my gear was going up, but guess what? It's still glowing orange. Well, what does that mean? External view of my aircraft shows me that my front wheel is down. Front landing gear is down. Not a good thing. The only option I have here is slow down, try to cycle my gear, bring it down, cut back on my speed. Yep, the gear is coming out, and then I execute a retraction, and guess what? The back wheels come up, but the front nose wheel stays down. First airborne target on the nose is an enemy fighter going left to right at a range of about 20 miles. The range looks pretty good. He's not moving too far, too close. I've got good closure on him. And there's a Fox 3. Closure of about 1,000 knots is pretty decent, which means the missile should get him. What I don't know is that this fighter is special. Yep, this is not a typical F-18, F-16 that you're going to find on the blue side on Growling Sidewinder. There are some pilots doing air-to-ground mission, and there's a few of them in the Growling Sidewinder server. So if you do have somebody who likes to do air-to-ground, you can bring them in and be their air defense. Well, in this case, we've got a Harrier that's just cruising along here. He's already put my missile in a notch, and he does a nice turn away, and the missile is trashed. No worries, there's more hostiles coming in. New target, 13 miles away. This time, this is an F-18. Let's turn into it and send a Fox 3 at the hostile. Fox 3, 11 miles. I start cranking out immediately to defend. I don't need to hold this missile. Aim-120 is tracking. F-18 is not paying enough attention. First splash. Alright, so that was a pretty good splash, and off to hunt our next target. Now, when you're playing Growling Sidewinder, all the enemies are from the blue side are coming from the west. So, of course, you know, you're always looking ahead. In this case, I should have been looking behind me, because in retrospect, as I pan the camera behind me, I can see that I've got somebody on my 6 o'clock. It's an F-16. I'm too busy trying to get solution on the targets on my nose that are starting to get pretty close here. 20 miles. I line up my shot. Should be a good shot here. I've got the speed. Fox 3 and Squid calls out, Plasma, I think there's somebody on your 6. Looks like a hostile. I'm like, no, that's the guy I splashed. And then we confirm that that guy is indeed moving. Just to be safe, I start cranking out and start looking for what the heck is going on. I can see that there is somebody there, but I'm not certain where he is. Looking down, I don't see him down below. What happened is, as I've descended, the F-16 had ascended and he's gone up above me. I look at the altitudes and I see him in front of me. There's a lock and confirmed IFF as hostile, and there's a merge. Now at this point you would think, okay, I saw Fireball, did he get splashed by somebody? Never trust your eyes, because in this case all that happened is his wings simply separated. This guy's actually lagging pretty badly. He lost a chunk of his wing, but he is still flying and he is still a threat. Coming around, getting eyes on, going for a lock. Locked, and here we go for another merge. He's pretty easy to see, guys. He's got one wing on fire. Should be a piece of cake, right? He takes a sniping shot at me with guns. Trying to maintain lock on him. I fire some guns in return. Just can't get him into my weapon employment zone. You have to remember to stay fast. Yeah, there was no chance those guns were going to hit this guy. I still haven't dropped my tank, something I probably should do, but him popping up so quickly was definitely a surprise for me. He comes across, gets his nose on me, and I take hits. And a piece of my plane separates away from me. Let's take a look at that. So I start turning in. He makes a better turn than I do. Gets his guns on me. Pop flares, pop chaff, and he cuts off one of my wings. Now we've got two F-16s, both on fire, both missing a chunk of their wing, flying around. Here's a problem. When he took out that wing, he also took out two of my air-to-air missiles. He got cocky, he overshot, and turns out I still have a Sidewinder. There was the Fox 2. And a splash. Let's watch that in slow motion. Lock, uncage, Fox 2, and it's a nice, easy hit. Boom. Alright, good splash. Let's take assessment of what's our aircraft doing. We know we're missing missiles on our left side. We know the wing is on fire. We also need to find our wingman and see what situation we're in. So right away, radar is up and we're looking back to where is our wingman. As long as we're flying, we're still in the fight. Never leave the fight, guys. No matter what happens, never leave the fight. The other thing you need to do is make sure you're not leaking fuel. You staying in the fight might actually even save your life along with your wingman. Alright, let's check. My missiles aren't firing, but my guns are still working. I went list 2 to bring up my fuel state on the right window, and I'm just looking at it. I'm not bleeding out too much fuel, and I do have one more hostile coming in high. Changing modes. For whatever reason, my radar is not wanting to work properly. Let's try again, and maybe in vertical scan. The radar's just misbehaving. Come on, vertical scan. I forget to turn on the radar. There's the lock, and we've got a merge. Plasma's on fire, merging with another hostile, another F-16. They are a popular aircraft. Reflecting back on this merge, maybe I should have stayed low and gone RTB, but the thing is about Growling Sidewinder, you never know who is going to be an ace pilot or a new guy, so if you let a guy go by that is this close, there's a high chance he's going to shoot a missile into you. So I make the choice, I'm going to stay on him, still got my fuel tanks, don't want to lose all my gas, trying to maintain both situational awareness and also keeping an eye on my fuel, which is now starting to get under 500 pounds. Now 500 pounds is not very much in an F-16. I am literally now pulling back to just below a mil. I cannot afford to be in afterburner at this point. I still have to be able to try to win this fight, but being out of afterburner means that I have to go slow here, and my closure on targets is going to be off. Deploy some guns. This guy is maneuvering on me. I don't think he's quite realized what's going on, but now he's figured it out. His RWR should be freaking out, but he is just outside of my range of my weapons. I could try taking some blind shots on him, but it's just not going to be effective. I don't have that many rounds. What I need him to do is I need him to start maneuvering so that I can get inside of a circle and put some rounds on him. He takes the bait, starts maneuvering. The only problem is he is brilliantly laggy. Short, very controlled bursts as he crosses my nose here. It's a balancing act. I can't go into afterburner, so I'm below mil. I'm maneuvering, descending, also trying to close the distance. Keeping a constant eye on my fuel consumption. I'm now below 300 pounds. About 10 seconds of afterburner, maybe even less, 5 seconds of afterburner is all I've got. Short bursts, that's all I can afford. Just trying to snipe this guy. Just need one hit on him. But he's just bouncing in and out of my HUD. Each time I compensate, he bounces out. Desperate shots here. Really pulling my nose in, trying to cash in whatever I've got here. And all gas is out. I am now in hydrazine. The engine is gone. I've flamed out. Let's find a place to land. The computers are quite mad at me. This guy's pulling away, so I'm okay. I can't fire a missile at him. My missile stopped working after I lost that wing. So where do I land? Check my airspeed. I'm at 300. What I need to do is I deploy full brakes, do a slight turn to the right, and then in to the left. This allows me to bleed off my airspeed. I need to touch down at around 140 to survive here. Let's hope that my front gear isn't broken. I'm not going to flip upside down. Coming in gently. I don't want to eject. I want to try to save the aircraft. Touchdown. No, rolling over. Alright guys, that was it. Hopefully you liked it.